Let's talk a little bit about how it's likely to go around the country. So now understand that in a lot of states, the winner, we have such a strong idea of who it's already going to be that some of this won't necessarily apply. Like California is not going for Trump. It doesn't really matter if California is slow in counting the votes. We know that. It matters overall for the total popular vote, maybe, but for the Electoral College, not so much. But all that said, only 8 states expect to have at least 98% of unofficial results reported by noon the day after the election. Wow. After the election, only 8 states. 22 states and the District of Columbia allow postmarked ballots to arrive after election day. So the timing on when those will be counted will depend on when voters actually return them. So you can't even necessarily start counting in 22 states and the District of Columbia until possibly a few days after. You will still be doing new counting at that point. You have states like New York and Alaska that will not report any mail votes on election night. Now, in those 2 cases, it probably won't matter because New York's gonna go blue and Alaska's probably going to go red anyway. Officials in Michigan and Pennsylvania have said full official counts could take several days, and those are very much important. So again, these are different categories. Some don't matter, some really will matter. But the main reason I wanted to mention this, that I wanted to go through this is we've been talking about how in a lot of states, like in Pennsylvania, the people who show up on election day are likely to favor Donald Trump, and then the results will favor Donald Trump, and then it'll shift blue over time. But that is not the way it's going to work in every state. And I have seen almost no conversation about this. In a couple of important states, it actually could work in the reverse way. So in states like Arizona, Florida, and North Carolina, initial results could skew in favor of Joe Biden because mail-in ballot totals will be released first. They actually are able to count the votes in advance. Places that report in-person election day votes first, like most parts of Virginia, will be like Pennsylvania. But that means you could actually see a red shift after election day in places like Arizona, Florida, and North Carolina.
I agree with you, though. That's probably going to be more unlikely because we know that GOP voters are not going to mail in their ballots because they've been told time and time again that it's not real and it's fraud. So I think that there's a possibility that we'll see it go that way, but I think it's going to be, well, we'll see what the early voting counts are. And we typically do have states that are able to count those early ballots, but yeah, it's going to be a nail biter, John.
It will, and understand that in a few states that won't necessarily be important, but could be important, like Texas has no estimate for when their numbers will be released. It could take days, it could take a week, we don't know. Georgia could take at least a few days. That's a state that's been very close in the polls, even with some polls, Biden being up. So all of this information is available. The New York Times has a great breakdown on literally the schedule for every state. You can find that online if you're curious about the way your state is gonna go. But just understand that there's complex, multiple things working at the same time. And so just be ready for anything and I'm gonna say this to you, I'm really saying it to myself for our election day coverage. Don't respond emotionally to every bit of breaking news and the numbers because the numbers aren't final until they're final and they ain't gonna be final on election day. So John Iadarola, bear that in mind.
It ain't over till Fat Trump sings or cries.
Exactly. Hey. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.